Hello book buddies, and welcome back to my channel. Now normally when a video starts you see an introduction telling you if I'm doing a book review or book promotion. You didn't see that this time because this is neither. This is actually the first video in a new series I'm doing where I provide writing tips. So that's right, all you aspiring authors out there, you get to pick Gwen's brain for all of her pearls of wisdom in regards to writing. But before we jump into that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about where the channel is going. So I'm Gwen. I am the owner of Gold Dust Editing and Book Reviews, and my company does just what it says. We edit books and review books, and we also promote books, so it just kind of get too long to add that to the title. But most of my editing is fiction. I have done some nonfiction, but a majority of the editing and reviewing that I do is for fiction. But for more details about the type of work that I do as far as genres, what I edit versus what I review versus what I promote, you can find all of that in full detail on my website, and I have provided the link to that in the description down below. Now, outside of my own company, I freelance with some publishers, namely HarperCollins and Hallmark. And by Hallmark, I do mean Crown Media's Hallmark channel, but not for the channel. I freelance with Hallmark Publishing, so the book side of things. That has been a wonderful opportunity for me. I am still just like giddy over that, and I just finished my second project with them, and I'm looking forward to doing more. It's the same with HarperCollins. It's a wonderful company, and I feel very honored to be able to work with them. So that is it about me, right? Well, actually it's not. I have to tell you this. As far as book reviews go, I review books for Publishers Weekly magazine. That is another really wonderful opportunity for me. I've been with them for about 6 years now. I have a really wonderful editor, and I have a lot of fun with them. So yeah, that's pretty much about me as far as work goes. Now, as far as the channel goes, I know I haven't uploaded a video in about 2 weeks. And that is not because I have not been interested or I'm not organized or anything. I was a little bit under the weather for a few days, but also when it comes to editing, especially when I get a project from one of the publishers, they have strict deadlines. They need that work done. So I always have to give that priority. It does not mean I don't love you guys and that you're not top priority for me as well. It just means I have to juggle deadline dates and stuff like that. When it comes to reviewing books, I have to have time to read the book, think about the review, create the video, edit the video, and that takes a lot of time, which I enjoy doing it, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I just don't have enough in my schedule to get a review in. The beauty about the writing tips is I don't have to spend hours reading first, so I can sit down in front of the camera, give you the tip for the day, get the video edited, and get it loaded. So I say all of that to say these videos should come regularly. I should be able to load a minimum of 1 a week, and that should be no problem. That should not be a problem. There should be no problem. I'm an editor and I'm just jumbling all over my words. That's okay, we're human too. So, yeah, the channel, I wanted to tell you about that. So, I've just been waiting. The channel is still fairly new. It's been around 2 or 3 months, and I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be more forthcoming. There will be raffles and giveaways and contests and things of that nature. So I've just been kind of waiting to get more viewers and get more subscribers, just so more people around to, add to the fun and more people to take advantage of the opportunities. And speaking of the contest, well, it won't just be a contest, but at the end of this writing series, this segment of the channel won't go away. I will eventually run out of tips, but what will happen then is I will open to accept submissions where authors send in their first few pages, and I read a page or two on camera and then give you feedback for it. So that's going to be coming, and I would love to read some of your work. So I hope you guys subscribe and turn your notification bell on so you'll know when a video is uploaded. And so yeah. With that being said, let's get started with our first writing tip. So you decided to write a book, and for the sake of these videos, I have to tell you, you already know what you're going to write about. That doesn't mean you have your whole story idea complete, but you have to have some clue. And I'm pointing this out because I am a part of some writing groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I see this mostly on Facebook, no offense to anybody, but where someone will post and say, I want to write a book, and can you give me some ideas of what to write about? And I've seen some very, strong comments to that, and I understand why. if you are really an author in your soul or spirit or something you really want to do, you would understand that, you know, you have to come up with your own idea. And that is not me, you know, tapping anybody on the back of the hand and saying shame on you, but I'm explaining the comments that I've seen on there for those of you who may not understand. It's not that anybody is trying to be rude or mean to you, but I mean, look at it this way. Why would they tell you they're a great idea for a book instead of writing it themselves? See where I'm going with that? So, yeah, I'm assuming you have some kind of idea of what you want to write, even if you don't know, the story's not fully developed, but do you want to write romance? Do you want to write space opera, sci-fi, historical fiction? What is it that you want to write? That is something you have to decide up front. I can't tell you how to figure that out. You have to come up with a way to get your own story ideas, and that is because, like I said, nobody is going to be, you know, too quick to want to give you their great idea, and that's an idea they want to use for themselves. So that's kind of like for any of you out there who are part of those groups or you've seen those comments, that I just wanted to throw that explanation out there. I don't think anybody really means to be rude or mean. I think it really jars them for somebody to say, I want to write a book, tell me what I should write about. See how that sounds? Okay, enough of that. But like I said, these videos are assuming you have handled that part. So how do you get started? So you got a great idea. How do you get started? First thing first is to investigate, research, or whatever you want to call it, the elements of your genre. If, for instance, of course we're going to use romance a lot because that is my specialty. If you decide you want to write a romance, but you need to understand the elements of a romance, let's discuss them. Okay, first and foremost, a romance centers around the developing romantic relationship between two people. Okay, that is it. And I'm stressing too because it's not, a lot of people think romance and erotica are the same. They are not the same. Those terms are not synonymous. A romance is a story that concentrates on the developing romantic relationship. So they're not just friends. They can start out just friends, but the goal is by the end of the book for them to be romantically connected. Then that's what you have to focus on. And that's the rule. That's what a romance is. Number two, this is very, very important. It has to end in a happily ever after or happy for now. Okay, that's the rule. That's not negotiable. If you check on some websites to publishers who publish romance, or look up some I don't want to say editors, agents for romance, they're going to require that book to end in a happily ever after or happy for now. Why am I saying that? Because if you're going to kill your people, Romeo and Juliet, you have not written a romance. That is a tragedy. And I'm probably going to get some comments about that, but Romeo and Juliet is not a romance. It is a tragedy. They are not happy at the end of the book because they are dead. And I guess somebody could be happy, I don't know. But that is not a romance, okay? So I'm pointing that out because if anybody is going to die, like not anybody, if one of your main characters who were supposed to be in this loving relationship dies, you have not written a romance. So I'm throwing it out there. If you want to write a romance, you got to take that in a different direction. Okay, number three is important, is they cannot be, and I'm just going to say it, having sex with a whole bunch of people once you decide to start building a relationship. So you see, you hear about people being a rogue, or he's this and that, and he has all these women, and you hear about it in historical romances a lot, like, he's a scoundrel and he has all these mistresses, okay? But once he decides to go after this other woman who he's pursuing, then he ceases all of that activity. But you cannot have one of your people having sex with this person at the same time they are pursuing someone else. That's not romantic. And romance is romance. That's not romantic. So you have to be careful of all these things and write your book. So whatever genre you're going to write in, you have to understand the elements of that genre. Otherwise, it's going to be frowned upon, or somebody's going to get confused or whatever. Got that? Okay. So what do you do now? Some people say start where your story starts. Great advice. Some people say just sit down and start writing. Let's expand on that a little bit. Okay, if you sit down and you go chapter 1 and you think you're going to write all the way till you get to the end and everything's going to be cool and kosher and copacetic, no, that is not the best way to start that. The best way to start your book is at the conflict and the climax, right? You say, why? Gwen, that's at the end almost. Like, why do I have to start with that? Here's why. Let's do an analogy, shall we? Or comparison, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so you're going to go on vacation, right? And you say, so do you just hop in your car and say, oh, I'm going to take a week off work and I'm going on vacation? You just hop in your car. I live in North Texas, so let's start there. If I hop in my car and I head south and I have no clue about what I want to do on vacation or where I'm going or anything, that's fine. My car will still drive, and I stop at a gas station along the way, stop and give me something to eat, look at the sights on the way. But then let's just say while I've been driving 6 hours heading south, I go, oh, Eureka, I'm going to Colorado. That's fine. I'm heading in the wrong direction, but cool. All you gotta do is turn around, right? You're probably just like, just turn your car around. That's great, I can. So let's pop a Yui and head to Colorado. No harm, no foul. Well, let's think about that for a minute. I've used a lot of gas and a lot of time. You know what I mean? I had a week off. I have a week off, and I've wasted hours driving in the wrong direction. What else can happen? I'm going to get tired before I get to Colorado, and I'm probably going to have to pull over. And unless I want to take a chance and sleep outside on the side of the road, which is not safe nor comfortable, I'm going to have to get a hotel room. So I'm going to spend part of my vacation money on a hotel in a city I didn't even want to be there. But you say, okay, Gwen, get over it. Okay, we'll get over it. Let's go. Spend a night at the hotel. Let's get up, and we're going to continue to head to Colorado. Well, depending on what time of year it is, I may get to Colorado and it's cold, and everything in my suitcase, because I live in Texas and we get like 7 days of winter, is shorts and flip-flops and sneakers and maybe some jeans and some short sleeve shirts, and I may have thought to pack a jacket, but is that going to be enough against the cold, brutal Colorado weather? Because it's November. I don't know. But you see where I'm going with that. I'm still not prepared for this trip. I get to Colorado, I don't know anything about Colorado. So where exactly am I going? Where are all the sites? Where do the tourists go? So I show up, and now I need a hotel. And the hotel where I want to stay, they don't have a room available to me. And I can't get anywhere near all of the, stuff Alexa told me is fun to do there. So now I'm just bummed in. My whole vacation, I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money, and I'm not having fun. How could I have avoided that? By planning ahead. Deciding what I want to do, which will help me determine where I'm going to go and how I'm going to get there. You see where I'm going with that? So, are you going to write a romance? Are you going to write if so, what kind of romance? Second chance at love, unrequited love, friends to lovers, forbidden love? What are you writing about? If you're going to write a mystery, what kind of mystery are you trying to solve? Identity, theft of ring, murder mystery? What exactly is it that you want to do? What kind of mystery are you solving? How are you going to get there? Okay, that's what you have to figure out. So, I'm going to do a murder mystery. Okay, great. How am I going to resolve this murder? Like, basically, how am I going to solve it? That's very, very important for me to come up with in the beginning. Why? Because that's going to determine the path that I take to get there. You following me? So, I sit down and I say, this is the type of book I want to write. This is going to be my major conflict. I may not have all the details of it, but in general, this is what I want to do. If I want to go skiing, okay, I don't know exactly which park I'm going to. I've heard that I can get some ski lift tickets when I get there. I know I need some cold clothes, weather for cold weather. Clothing for cold weather and all of that, but I may not have all the full details exactly. I'm going to get up tomorrow morning at exactly 10 a.m. and go on the lift, but I have some general idea of what I want to do, and that's what you have to do in your story. You have to decide in general where it is you want to go with this story. You have to then decide how you're going to resolve whatever conflict you're going to create. That is because, like I said, all of your characters, actions, and everything you write has to lead up to that. So decide how you're going to solve your conflict. Resolve it, I should say. If it's, okay, let's take a romance, of course. And it's workplace, okay? The job says, the company says that you guys can't be fraternizing and you can't date one another or whatever, but you sit next to them every day and you're working on this project together, and so you send each other outside of work and you fall in love, but you gotta keep it a secret and all of this stuff. Okay, this is a minor conflict, but just roll with me on here so you can see where I'm going with this. Okay, in the end, how are they gonna resolve that? Right? Because nobody is going to just forever stay together and keep their relationship a secret to save their job. So is somebody going to get a new job, or both people going to leave the company? Is HR going to say, okay, we relaxed that rule and it's okay for you guys to date each other, you know, or whatever? Like I said, that's a minor conflict, but you get where I'm going with that, right? Like, you have to decide how that's going to resolve, because if you say one of those people is going to, you know, switch professions or get a new job, during the course of you writing that book, you know, throughout the plot, you have to scatter some breadcrumbs related to that, like they're getting phone calls from headhunters, or they're searching for other work, or you have to do something, because at the end, if you just say, oh, you got another job, your readers are going to be scratching their head and going like, what the heck? That's called an easy fix, which we'll talk about in another video, but hopefully you understand where I'm going with that. You need to decide how you're going to resolve that issue, whatever issue you've created. You need to understand how you're going to resolve it so your writing goes that way. You know, it needs to lead up to that. Does that make sense? Drop me a comment down below if it doesn't, and let me know which part you're confused about. But that is where I think you need to start, guys. I think you need to decide what it is you want your book to say, what your book is going to be about. You need to understand the elements of whatever genre you selected, and then you need to define your conflict and your resolution of that conflict. That is Quinn's words of wisdom today as far as writing goes. So, do you have any questions? Once again, drop them in the comments down below. I will personally respond to everybody that leaves something down there. Here's where we're going next. We're not ready for this yet because somebody needs some time to think. Next, we're going to pack our bags. This means we're going to load ourselves up with everything we need to get to head on out on our trip. To get to our destination, you know, we're going to talk about characters and how to develop them and how to choose a setting and what to be mindful of. That is going to be on the next video. We're going to continue on our journey. And so, if you want to continue to talk about this, not only can you use the comments below, but I have a forum on my website. You can post more detailed information there and snippets of your work, or, you know, ideas if you want to run by. And it doesn't just have to be with me. You guys can, you know, mingle with each other, and I will still read, you know, everybody's comments. But that is it for today. That is tip number 1 on getting started. That was just to get started. So go ahead, put that to good use, and let me know what you think. With that being said, that is it for today's video. I will be loading another one soon, so make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys next week. Till then, happy writing.